Welcome back to Responsibly Unhinged. It's your girls, Kylie Kaiser.
And Quinn Collins.
We are back after another hiatus with a lovely producer guest, Courtney, again. So shout out to her for being here. We're slowly transferring her to Austin. We're going to keep her here forever. But we have somebody else joining us today as well.
The OG. They're probably the baddest in the game.
It's true.
The roast master of Austin. Heather Keith.
Wow, the baddest?
The baddest.
That's so cool. You guys are cool. I love when people use little Gen Z like language with me and I go, wow.
I'm trying so hard
I'm one
to
of the
pretend.
kids.
I want to be like their age so bad, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I don't.
I
Yeah.
do, because I just think like I do respect that like the Gen Z kids are finally like adapting what I think millennials started doing, which is like making like, it's like we know everything sucks, so they're just gonna like be very unserious about everything.
Oh, no,
Like
that's true.
they're like
Yeah.
the first generation to fully like put in like reap what we sowed. I feel like we started being like, well, terrible things are gonna keep happening if you're like you know, at the end or anywhere in the millennial age range.
But I
don't
think
know.
they'll do it in a cooler way.
Yeah, they do it. They have
Are
like
you Gen Z?
TikTok.
How old are you?
I think I'm on the cusp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What year were you born?
97.
Because you're
Me
right.
too.
You're right.
We're Gen Z.
Yeah,
We're
you're
Gen
right.
Z.
But you're
Yeah,
like
yeah.
elder Gen Z.
Yeah.
So you have like the crossover.
We're like that Steve
Yeah.
Buscemi thing where he's like, hello, fellow youth, because we are technically Gen Z.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like zillennial or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm young millennial, so I
My
like to
sister
pretend.
is only 2 years older than me, but is an incredibly millennial person.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel my sister's a millennial, but she's not like cringy.
Yeah.
But I think this is my hot take. The whole like, oh, millennials are cringy. Oh, Gen Z is cringy. I think it's literally just people who are chronically online that you're
Yeah.
noticing. Because my sister's a millennial. She doesn't say like pup or she
No.
doesn't go
Yeah.
like small girl. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like remembering like
Because-
there's definitely things I do that I'm like people will point out, especially like on TikTok. Somebody like, this is so millennial of you, and I'm just like, okay, well that's also just like the gap in our technology. Like they were making fun of like the pause at the start of our videos, and I was
Right.
like, we didn't used to have that setting where you can't do that. Like you had to wait because the sound on your Instagram story was delayed. Like, it's not. That's why we all paused. Like it's because
Wow.
if you started talking right away, the sound was not like synced up with your
I just like
Instagram
to
story.
stare at myself for a second before. So just
Yeah.
to make sure.
Just dead
She's
face.
like, I'm not millennial, I'm just vain.
Yeah, I'm a Leo.
I'm just
a
kind
Leo.
of stupid.
I just like I'm not sure if it's working.
Yeah.
It's a video. It's not a picture. I'm the one recording.
That's you. You're like the tapping the screen, like the old lady. Like, is this on?
Yeah, I got a readers on.
Yeah, I love that. But no, I want to circle back to our hyping up Heather because she is the roast master, truly.
Thank you, guys.
You just went out to Vegas. Was that where that was?
No.
Where was that at? Where was Netflix as a joke?
Oh, that was in LA.
LA.
Yeah.
Okay, so much cooler.
R.I.P..
Much cooler. R.I.P. But yeah, Netflix is a joke. You won the whole damn thing.
I did, yeah.
You did. How was that?
It was fun. It was like very nerve-wracking. I am a last-minute writer, so every single day I was just writing new jokes for my next opponent because it was like what's that word? Bracket based.
Yeah.
So every day I would learn who I'm roasting the next day, and then I would have to like just lock myself in and write. So I didn't get
Yeah.
to enjoy LA at all.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you got the best outcome out of it. So
Yeah,
that's super
yeah.
cool because you had a bunch of like really cool comics like on the panel and everything. So that had to feel really awesome.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking. There was Steve Urkel was one of the judges one night.
What?
And that was crazy. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And he ended up one of the biggest reasons I won was because Steve Urkel gave everybody edibles one night. And the next day, everyone was so beyond fucked up from them that, like, the kid I went against, John Ajota, hilarious comedian, he should have won the whole thing, but he was so, like, dazed from Purple Urkel that he
Oh
couldn't,
my
that he
God.
did a really bad job roasting me.
Purple Urkel is crazy.
Yeah, no.
Everybody's high. And he's like, did I do that?
Yeah, exactly. No, I remember my friend Adam and I forget his other friend's name. Oh, I hate that. But they came in and they were like, yeah, I'm like ruined today because I took Purple Urkel last night.
That's hysterical.
And then 2 seconds later, my opponent walked in and he was like, "Hey, are you guys like also really fucked up from Purple Urkel?"
Oh,
Dude,
like a
edible
weed
hangovers
hangover.
are
I say an
brutal.
edible hangover is wild. Like
Yeah.
you know it was bad then.
Yeah, they were really strong. They were all like, "Yeah, we took them. We were having fun," and then we all immediately went home.
My sister overdosed on
Yeah.
edible. Not like
Is that a thing?
in a
Well, some of those
serious
like
way.
some of the legal strains are causing people more problems than not. I actually was really drunk talking to this lady that works in one of the vape like trucks. So this is really credible information at 2 a.m. that I was getting. But she was telling me they've been having a bunch of like recall problems on a lot of like the Delta
Right.
strains that they've legalized.
Yeah.
They're causing more issues than just like normal
It's your
marijuana.
body can't metabolize it fast enough. So
Yeah.
if like you're taking them, like my sister would, because she was like trying to drink less, so she would take them like 3 days a week. But they're too
Right.
strong, and her body wasn't able to metabolize it right.
Oh.
So it was like she thought she had like food poisoning or like neurovirus, because she's just like having to sit in the shower and like lay there to like regulate her temperature, and like that's a huge thing where it's like people's bodies just aren't metabolizing it, so it's like locking you up.
That's wild.
Right. Is it? Did she pass out?
No, she just couldn't stop throwing up.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I've like seen people pass out after smoking weed. It's like a very common thing now
so
that
weird.
people will smoke weed and then they just pass out out of nowhere.
It's crazy. All these places where it's like not legalized, they're doing all these other weird versions of it that are causing more issues.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, I saw.
just give us the leaves. That's
Yeah,
what we're good.
I hosted for Louis Katz at Creek in the Cave, and a guy in the front row took one of the edible of those, and he passed out front row, just like in the middle of
Those edibles
the
they have
headliner.
there are
Just
nuts.
yeah,
Nuts.
it's crazy.
They're like 10 milligrams too,
Yeah.
which they're like $10, so that is kind of a steal. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, we haven't been on in a minute, so I don't know
I'm trying
what
to.
we want to recap about here. Let's see.
I was gonna say I'm keep trying to cross my legs, but then everyone can see how I attempted to wax my legs and I gave up.
you wax, you don't shave.
I just bought a waxing pot and
Ooh.
I took a good old college try at my legs, and it was so fucking
we'll
hard
keep it out
and
of the frame.
messy.
It's okay.
Yeah. I kind of
Yeah.
okay. I kind of did it on mushrooms too, so
Oh,
it was not.
I haven't
What could
shaved
go wrong?
since I got
Yeah.
home.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
can't bend. I can't bend.
I was
good
gonna,
enough.
that's update for the audience. Both of us were in the hospital within 14, 13 days of each other.
Yeah.
ER visits. So we're happy to be here, alive and well. Quinn is a little still recovery mode, but
Oh yeah, I dislocated my hip. So
yeah.
Falling down.
Yeah, they told Quinn that it was the worst dislocation they've seen under 40, and I was like, well, how
What?
many dislocations have they seen under 40? Was my
yeah.
question.
yeah, like not very many. So they
Yeah.
kept bringing in resident doctors to just like stare at me, which was crazy.
Yeah, Quinn broke her hip. I broke my ovaries. We're good.
You're
though.
what?
I found out. Jeez.
I have like recurring rupturing cysts.
What?
Yeah, so we're figuring that out. Found out recently this is possibly an issue from when I was bodybuilding. So don't do drugs, kids, even the ones that make you hot. Take away from
Wow.
that.
No, I'm not giving him cocaine, but I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I was so well. I was running. I live off Riverside, and that's where I was running, because I just run these laps around like this one apartment building.
Oh, you were exercising.
That's why we
Yeah.
don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I was exercising.
I literally, when you said you fell while running, I imagined you drunk in a party
Well,
dress.
that's what I also expected, because I picked her up. She called me at midnight, and I am never.
Why are you exercising at midnight, you
It
freak?
was 10. I was 11:30.
That's-
11:30 doesn't make it better.
But I was just like, because
You're gonna get
we
murdered
canceled
for
the third
sure.
show at Sunset. And so I didn't I didn't have to work the second or third show. So I was like, and then I had work in the morning, but I was like, I have to run, because I'd been working both jobs like every single day for that last week. And I usually run like at least a mile a day. Like I love to run. So then I was like, I'll just do a quick couple like laps around this apartment building. Because I mean, it's pretty well lit, but it's still Riverside. But and it felt so good outside. It was like 70 degrees.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, fuck it, and then just like fell bad. But I know for me, for sure with how I am, there's nothing like my favorite part about getting drunk is realizing I can run. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my favorite
That Patrick
Hard.
always says that to me. He goes, I know you're like fucked up when you start running.
No,
Yeah.
Quinn like dead ass gets the zoomies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
it was surprising. I was shocked that I'm doing dry January right now, but I had a very, very damp December, so that's why we're here. But I was like just in on a Friday night at that time, and shockingly, and she
Yeah.
called, and I'm like, I thought she's like drunk dialing and to be like, come to Fraser's, and I like pick up and I'm like, hello, and she's like,
Yeah, it was so bad. It was probably like one of the worst pains I've ever felt, that I was just like, fuck. And I've been doing redneck shit like my entire life. Just, like,
Yeah, but now you're on your city girl shit.
I know.
Your
Humbling.
body doesn't remember
They
what it's like to
said,
tumble
"We
around in the
forgot
hay.
you were." But yeah, just been then like I would do gymnastics forever, and then just like stupid redneck shit. We would do this thing where there's like we'd be in a field, and like two different people had pickup trucks, and you would do this thing where you would jump from one truck bed to the other truck bed, and then after each time they would move the trucks further and further, and you'd start seeing who could jump the furthest.
Yeah.
And there's so many times I ate it.
Yeah.
Right on the,
a lot of
the
these
thing.
things actually could be maybe why your hips are more fragile.
Yeah, I definitely
Right.
had bad flexors because like that's why I don't like being on top if I'm hooking up with a guy, because I'm just like
That's why.
I just yeah.
I'm just
like,
lazy.
Right.
I don't mind it, but then it becomes like one of those things where I'm like my flexors would cramp up, and I'm like, hey, gotta tag you in here.
Sometimes I feel like when you're on top and you have an orgasm, I feel like it doesn't count.
No.
Yeah,
You
and
know
a
what
lot
I
of people
mean?
say that it's easier that way, but I just don't want to be putting that work in. Like
I
I,
don't-
I
Yeah.
have to really like
when it
you.
happens, if
I
I'm
could
on
do this
top,
by
I don't want to
myself.
give credit to the man. I did that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that.
Exactly. She's like, I could do that myself.
Yeah, you're just masturbating at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've been doing this on pillows since I was 13. It's like,
Everyone's got that one stuffed animal. You're like, don't touch that.
yeah, ooh. Hey, pillow pets, hate to see me coming.
Literally hate to see you coming, I'm sure. They are traumatized.
A penguin pillow pet sees
A
me and
pillow
it's like, please,
pet.
God, please.
Dude, I bet men use pillow pets too because they fold.
Yes.
Oh,
Wow.
true.
Is it still bestiality?
The universal.
Yeah. This is a good time for this.
Yeah.
Is it technically still bestiality?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
that counts. Yeah.
110% it is.
Have you ever broken anything?
I broke my thumb in on a shuffle table when I was like in the 3rd grade. My mom took me to a bar and I was with a bunch of friends. We were all just at a bar
Fair.
and we were playing shuffle table, and I was grabbing one. The other shuffle hit my thumb and just burst it open. Just like the insides of my thumb everywhere. And I was like, And then there was a sign above that shuffle table forever that said no kids allowed. No kids allowed to play at this shuffle table.
At the bar.
Yeah.
That's
That just
hilarious.
left your mark.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
Oklahoma.
Okay, that tracks.
Yeah.
I was
Very
like,
trashy.
Courtney and I are both from a really small, like, same town area in Ohio.
Oh, okay.
And we did not know each other then, but that was like a weird connection when we met. And we always talk about it's like it was just so normal for like underage people to be in the bars. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a big deal, even at night. Like they were just like, oh, that's fine if you want to have your baby in here. People are just smoking cigarettes. Like, they don't give a fuck. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing roasts?
I don't remember. I think it's been like 3 years now. 3 or 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel like you've been roasting since I moved here.
Yeah.
The first roast battle I ever saw when I moved here, you were on it.
Oh, really?
don't
Which one was
remember
that?
who
Okay.
But I remember like when I first met you, were like undefeated.
Oh, yeah. That was probably around the Mike Eaton time when he
Yeah, which-
finally defeated me. Took my crown.
Allegedly.
Debatably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that's when I took it like so seriously. Like I had fun doing it, but I was like so attached to like I'm fucking undefeated.
Yeah.
I was like everybody fucking respects me.
My favorite roast of yours was against Fluffy when it was like something and he was
Fluffy?
like,
You
"You're
mean
gonna say
Fuzzy?"
that- You're gonna okay, yeah. I don't know how to say Fluffy.
I always do
I was like,
that.
that's crazy.
I always call him that too.
No, when
actually.
you did it against Fuzzy, and he said something, he was like, "You're gonna say that to me during Ramadan," and you just without a beat go, "You're not fasting." And like everyone, it was at Vulcan.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everyone lost it.
Yeah, that felt great. The applause. I was like, ah.
Everyone loved that.
There are sometimes when I say something on stage, and when people like like actually react to it, I'm always like, Jesus. Like,
Yeah.
it's scary.
Was it something that like you were already in comedy and were just like, oh, fuck it, I'll just try this? Or was it something people were like telling you should do?
I think just Adam booked me on it, and
Yeah.
it was back when I wasn't like really getting booked on anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, of course, it's stage time.
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
I think a lot of people don't like, as far as stand up, it's like very different than just like doing stand up. So it's like, I think like audience
Yeah.
people don't always realize it's like such a different like category of
Yeah.
comedy almost on its own.
Yeah, I never realized that either because when I don't know, I used to watch a lot of roast battles before
Yeah.
I started. I love Dina Hashem. Have you ever watched her?
Mm-hmm.
She's amazing. She has one of the best roast jokes in the world. She's going against this guy, and his mom died in a car wreck, and she said, you're gonna live exactly how your mother died, as an unrecognizable road feature.
Whoa.
It's one of the best jokes I've ever. Every time I do a roast, I'm like, I will never be her.
That's
That's
diabolical.
amazing.
That is
Yeah.
Wow.
It's incredible how people's like minds work like that.
Yeah.
So did you like, as soon as you started stand up, did you know you wanted to do roasts?
Yeah, kinda.
'Cause
I
feel
mean,
like the original roasters around here, they're like the original, like you included, like it's like a different vibe than the current roast battles.
yeah, right. I guess so. I never knew that like roast battle was like a different career path within
Yeah.
comedy.
I didn't realize that
That
either.
like once I really got into roasting and then I was becoming known for roasting, I like pulled back because I was like, well, that's not
Yeah, it's not
all
the
I
main
want to
thing.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
you have
it's
people like
yeah.
like wasn't Nikki Glazer was just like a roast comic for a long time,
Uh-huh.
right? And
Yeah.
it's like she's been doing it so long, and now it's like her stand-ups getting recognition. But maybe that has something to do with being like, oh, if you focus on this thing too much,
yeah.
yeah, you get known for that. But it's very
Yeah, I don't
cool.
know.
I was curious about that because I'm like I know like from being friends with Quinn or like when we got to know each other, just like the way you are conversationally, I was just like, you are like made to be doing like to do roast, like not as like your main thing, but I was like I up until you did your first roast battle, I was just like dying for you to do it, and then you crushed when you've done it. And so I
Yeah.
was like, I
Yeah,
feel
you're
it's, like, a
great at
similar,
roasting.
Like energy of like if you're
Yeah.
just one of those people that always like quick and insulting.
Yeah.
I
I
can
think
see that.
Yeah, I think everyone should do roast battle just
Yeah.
because, especially when you're first starting out, because it's just such good homework. It's
Yeah.
such
Yeah.
good, like, it gives you a deadline. You have to write these jokes. You have to do this.
I definitely,
And,
I
yeah.
just wanted to do it kind of like to say that I've done it, and it was like one of those. It's such a staple in Austin, I think, because like in like there's like specific scenes where roasting really matters, and
Yeah.
I think it kind of makes people take you more seriously as a comic. Even though it's like if you do well, everyone is going to accuse somebody else of writing all your jokes.
Right,
But
right.
who cares? Because
Yeah.
honestly, I think that too. That's another thing. It's like this newer wave of comics that have come into Austin specifically, like want to do like roasts and stuff, and like just in general write.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of them realize that like, because I know that I was like sometimes at open mics I just eavesdrop, and like someone was like, oh yeah, like kind of just ragging on writing in general, and then especially it was like. Somebody had said something about like, hey, I thought about this like joke for you, or like I like this like you know. I don't think a lot of them are realizing that to really be successful, or if you want to have any sort of like networking, like you have to eat shit and write for comics that are better than you.
Yeah.
Not necessarily have to, but like writers' rooms are so important. And I don't fully think people are grasping that just because of TikTok and Reels
Yeah.
have kind of
Yeah.
ruined that. But if you're all the time when people actually do really, really good on roast battle, everyone's like, oh, they didn't write any of their own jokes. But I think delivery is half the thing. I know people who
Yeah,
are
for
phenomenal
sure.
writers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phenomenal writers. And then you see them on stage or at roast
yeah.
battle and you're like, why did you say it like that?
Yeah. I've given people jokes and then I've watched them perform them and I'm like, you're not.
Yeah,
You did not
That was
hear
not
what I
the
was
Why
saying.
did you do that? Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's been like a...
The emphasis on the wrong word, the like,
yeah, or they're just like dead.
yeah.
Like it sounds like they're like when they bring their piece of
Yeah.
paper and just read it like right like on.
Oh
the
my
note.
God, yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I will say I sometimes give that delivery. I don't think I'm the best at delivering roast jokes.
I think it makes the way you do it makes it a little bit better because like some people like are a little bit too excited, like too golden retriever-y about it.
Yeah.
And yours is like you're there for business, like you
Right,
mean business.
right.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it
I
kind
I think I noticed in like the first 2 roast battles I did is like if I lock the fuck in, people love that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when I go, oh, good one. Here's
you're-
this
yes.
joke, you
You're,
know?
yeah, like you're committed to the bit, like it's like a part of the persona that you have up there. I think
Yeah.
that's good.
It makes your rebuttals are always really good too.
Yeah.
Thank
I think
you.
that's a big part of it that people don't realize either. It's like you pre-write, but a lot of that, like what you're coming back with is like maybe off the cuff, and that's part of the fun of it, I think.
Yeah. Well, sometimes what you're responding with is pre-written.
Yeah.
And you can sometimes tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I think a lot of people hate rebuttals because they're like, obviously they wrote that,
Yeah.
and everyone's treating it like they just thought of
Yeah.
it.
But I think that's like the good thing. That's like part of the skill of stand up in general, right? Like everything is supposed to be like rehearsed and well written to an extent, but the audience is always supposed to feel like it's not, like even just with our regular jokes. And it's
Yeah,
harder
they don't
than people think it is.
Yeah, they don't really know.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is when you host a show and then afterwards, like somebody will ask you, like, do you ever think about doing comedy?
Yeah.
And you're like, what? You just saw me
I have
do
done
it.
that a lot. I'm like, I think I think the host is just like somebody that works at the club.
Exactly. Yeah, they really
like,
do.
you not remember I did 7 minutes? If you don't remember, I guess maybe that's a sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're always like, well, you were being like really funny up there. You should do stand up. It's like,
Yeah.
it's crazy you think that. I had a guy ask me once, he was like, so how do I do that? And I was like,
I do openings.
yeah.
Yeah.
At
that's
Sunset
wild.
one time, this guy came up to me because it was like one of those shows where like 3 different door guys were like on the show.
Uh-huh.
It might have been like a main course, but I can't remember. And he comes up to me and like I'm like working like door or something, and he was like, "Oh, so does like everyone that works here like do comedy?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Like even the girls?" And I go, "Yeah." If the kitchen's nice and clean, they let us on stage. So
Yeah.
and like it was just like that was probably my biggest like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I once had an Uber driver who asked me, he was asking me about comedy because he was taking me to Mothership, and he was like, so how do you work there? And I was like, well, you have to like be a comedian, you have to audition, you have to be, if the booker likes you, he'll ask you back. And he's like, oh, okay. Because I've been like wanting to do comedy. I'm like an entrepreneur. And he was like, I think if I just like started comedy, I think that'd be a great side hustle for me. And I was like, you're
yeah.
fucking with
You're like, can you just
Yeah.
run this car off the road real quick?
Yeah. And then
the
he was
2 drink tickets and maybe a meal ticket if you're at fucking Baker Street.
great
maybe.
side
Let me
hustle.
tell you, I didn't rent this room for a reason.
But then what
Comedy
else
pay.
did he say? Oh, he was asking me about Kill Tony, and I told him where to sign up, how to do it, if he wants to do it.
Yeah.
And then he was like, okay, I see. So I sign up for Kill Tony, I do Kill Tony, and then I work at Mothership. And I was
Yes.
like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, give that a try, dude.
Go ahead and do it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hundreds of us work there now.
Yeah.
Same.
When's the
Every
last time
Monday.
you signed up for Kill Tony? Have you signed up for Kill Tony?
I don't know.
I
Have
haven't,
you been on it?
I've been on it once when it was back at Vulcan.
Me too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't signed up since I got on. either.
It's fair.
Yeah. I
will
should. I
say
get so nervous.
If
about it.
you can, if you're working, you can just sign up at work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you sign up like at the actual like, was it Poor Choices?
Oh yeah.
Move it again.
Yeah, I remember
nightmare.
there was a minute where I got back into signing up before I was a door guy.
Talk about
And-
nightmare blunt rotation.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Every night I was just like, this is horrible.
Oh, it's
we're like
fine.
we're like herded like cattle.
Yeah.
It's-
But they all genuinely think they're like which I will say like some of them do, I guess. But they're like, I'm gonna get on and I'm gonna be a touring comic.
Yeah.
And
well,
they're
it's because there's the beautiful thing where it's like the stuff like what happened to Cam Patterson can happen, and then there's the unbeautiful side of it where then everyone's like, I am that, and there are people who like never done comedy, like first open mic, and they're like, this is it.
Yeah,
I
they barely
remember
have
when
their
I
own.
first started signing up for Kill Tony, there was a kid who came every week in like some ridiculous shirt that just said like balls on it or something. And he wore it every Monday because he was like, I'm going to get on Kill Tony with this shirt. And I was like, do you do open mics or whatever? He goes, no, I've never done stand up. I want this to be my first time.
I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
And then he finally got up on stage, and I'm pretty sure he bombed, and then his parents got on stage or something, and they crushed, which was hilarious.
I love that.
Yeah. And then I asked him, I was like, all right, so are you going to start coming to open mics now that you've done your first set? He was like, no, I'm just going to keep doing this. I was like, what?
It's just
What?
like
It's
it's
like
like
a culture though. It's
Yeah.
like something that these
the
people
fans of the
enjoy.
show, and they don't. I think it's helped like take pressure off of it as a comic when you realize it's like it has such opportunities it can. But I'm like I used to like be just like waiting there every week, and then I'm like half the people that are getting the spots instead of comics are like those people that they don't even want to do it seriously, and so then I was like okay, it's kind of like, it's a huge gamble to be like trying to put everything on that. So I think like it actually makes more sense to me for some of these random people to have that mentality than when I hear like certain comics that are like they are trying to make it like their whole thing, and they'll be like, oh, I only sign up for Kill Tony.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what do you mean? Like you don't go to any mics
Did
to
you ever
practice?
sign up at
Like,
Vulcan?
no, I wasn't here while it was still at Vulcan.
I will say, obviously, very good for Tony that he's like crafted this.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
it's in arenas. That's really just like an incredible thing because he always talks about he like lived in his car. When he,
Yeah.
like, moved. And so to see this happen is obviously very cool. But I will say, when it was at Vulcan, it was this like it used to be such like a different kind of culture. Like it was like obviously there was like a lot of people like they'd never done stand up, and they used to like corral us in the corner, and we would watch the whole show. And it would probably
That
be only,
ruled.
like, what,
That's
50,
cool.
75
Yeah.
people signing up.
Yeah.
And it would be so funny because like we would be crowded in the corner watching, and you'd see like some dude go up there and obviously like eat shit, and like they would ask him like, how long have you been doing like stand up, and it'd be like a year, and like all the comics in the corner would like boo.
yeah.
And it was just like it was I don't know, like in a sense like lighthearted.
Yeah.
And now people are like, I have to do this to get famous.
Right.
And they don't want to have, because it used to be fun. Like it was
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
like fun, like going there and like the people you were around, like, and now people are like, it's like some like crackhead from Louisiana that's like, yeah, this is what I meant to do. I saw in a dream. And it's
Right,
like,
right.
but like, I mean, because has so much more of a, like an audience, which I mean is awesome,
Yeah.
but it's like also bringing in just some
Crazies.
critters.
Yeah.
Some
Critters.
creatures.
Yeah.
And,
Well, that's what sucks about. Sorry, were you
no, it's
still okay? What sucks about it is we have so many like younger comics who are moving here and only doing Kill Tony. They're not creating an open mic scene. They're not creating a bar show scene. It's just Kill Tony and then people who get booked on shows. There's no in between for
Yeah.
anybody to grow, and they're kind of fucking it up.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
there's no like stepping stones. They like got rid of the middle ground altogether.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Because there are so many people, like there's so many comics here, and that's like there's people that get up and they'll be like talking about that they're here doing comedy. I'm like, I've never seen you. And it's
Yeah.
like, I'm not at as many mics now to still see new people, but it's like you said, you can still see more of like if you pass through or you see them at the clubs because they're doing
Yeah.
mics, and there's some of these people I'm like, who, like where are they? And then it's like, oh, they're the people that are just only at Kill Tony, and
And
it
they
is
also
wild.
don't care to
Yeah.
educate themselves on the scene at all. 'Cause I
Yeah.
remember there was like one, because like we obviously do the day mic at Sunset, and it's like because they're new, they think they don't like care to like look up in the scene like who like to talk. It's just like Kill Tony people, like unless like and like the specific Mothership, like only the big names, the big names. Because there was I forget who it was, like it was like a guy that was there for an open mic. Looked at, I think, who was it? That they're like, do you do comedy? And they're like, yes. Maybe it was Chris Tellis. But they're like, do you do comedy? And like, they're like, oh yeah, sometimes. I'm trying to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Because like they don't know any of the like old Austin comics.
Which is
Yeah.
overwhelming at first, but it's like at least like learning people who like work at the clubs and things like that. But there is just like there's not really like a guide, and your guide, like for me, the guide was going to the mics and making friends. Like it was like I've talked about this on here before. It's like the same week like Brent Reed moved here, I was like starting here, and it was like I like talked to him at a mic, and then he was like he wasn't even from this scene, but he's done mics, so he's like, oh, there's probably a page, like here's how you look it up, here's how the mics run,
Yeah.
like, explain the light to me, because like, when you're brand new, like nobody like sits you down and does that unless you make nice
there's
friends.
no
like
there's no
so-
guidebook to
yeah.
anything.
So if you're not immersing
I miss
yourself in the
this-
scene,
yeah.
you're
Glory
missing
days.
that. Like,
3 years ago, it was like Buzzmill, Midnight Mike. You had like, Buzzmill used to have like so many things. And then like those apartments got built up, and they had to get rid of like there was like a midnight one-liner.
Love
mic.
that.
That was just
Oh, the
so
one-liner
fun.
competition. That was the peak of Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think I shouldn't say it because I work at Mothership, but I think it kind of destroyed what like community we had. It really divided us up
It makes you feel a lot
immediately.
more neck to neck.
yeah.
Yeah, because back in those days we were just all having so much fucking fun.
And
Yeah.
it made it easier to like network with people because like, we were all just like
Yeah.
being silly, goofy.
Yeah.
But oh god, I missed the midnight. Just like there was like that one. It was at midnight, and there was like one other thing that happened at Buzzmill at midnight
On
every
Fridays,
other-
I think. Yeah.
And it was maybe it was
I think it was just open mic, yeah.
but it was just
Yeah.
not so unserious. And I remember that was like when like Mikey Biggs, Miles, and Jack were like always like they were every night together. And they would always go back to back.
I loved that.
And it was so good. And they used to do like not roast battles, but like people would like do their birthday roasts and stuff at Buzzmill. God.
Right, yeah. Raymond Cabrera's. There's still video of that.
God. But yeah, I miss the Buzzmill days. Buzzmill was like so silly goofy.
It really was. I loved it. I guess they still do Tuesdays. Tuesdays are like
and they do the
still
Buzzkill,
good.
like
yeah.
Buzzkill at Buzzmill.
But yeah, it's just not the same as it was.
Yeah.
Raymond had like a full blown production system going too.
Yeah.
Like I have a great video of me doing a Buzzmill mic. That's like it looks like it was shot on like I don't know, a nice camera. I'm poor.
Missed, like, that era of Austin. Like I'm definitely grateful for what it's been, but I see the like I was getting here like as Mothership was opening too.
Oh,
like,
okay.
So it was like
there was also
kind of start
so
to
much
happen.
drama at the same time because
Yeah.
everyone was still single then.
Yeah.
So it was like single and brand new and like God.
Yeah.
But it's
There
like
was so much
the
drama.
community aspect I think is huge of what like keeps a lot of people going in the scene, and it's like one of those things that I've just always been in the mindset like you can get further helping each other than like being worried that somebody's gonna like get a better shot than you, like by like building that. And so all these like everybody's like at each other's neck because of this like new divide in it. It's like you're missing out on a lot of opportunity to be a better comic because I've definitely become a better comic by like the relationships I've had with other comics. Like I definitely think that matters. So it's kind of sad to see that like
people respected our room, like the rooms more. I think. Yeah. Where it was like.
Yeah.
I remember there was like some shows like if there were like 8 people in the audience, I'd be like, "Fuck," and it'd be like people are a lot quicker to like disrespect a bar show room, or it's like a crowd is a crowd, and it's like an opportunity to like work on stuff. But people will be like, "I could be at like this club or this club right now, but I'm here with you people." And it's like, whoa.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I see that a lot more.
The ego that comes out when you're bombing is real. I've had to catch myself on that. Bombing at a bar show when you're like, you guys don't even know.
You don't know. You could never know. But sometimes when I bomb at a bar show, I'm like, you guys are just being assholes.
Yeah.
There was one show I did at a bar that I was like, I think it was ticketed, and like they were just not laughing. Like they were just like looking at it, like just like not laughing at anybody. And it was like it was like 2 big groups, and I'm like I don't know if they knew, like if they like were doing this on purpose because like they wanted to have more of like a party kind of like just hang out at a bar, so like they like rioted against
like,
us
fuck
all.
this show.
Because I was like there were some funny fucking people on that show, so I was like y'all are doing this on purpose.
Yeah. You mentioned like when you early got into the scene and how it was like chaotic with all the single people. I know you're in a relationship now. Did you ever experience any like were you like single when you got here?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
So were you part of that whole crazy?
I was in love with everybody.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing that you don't think about is like when women join comedy, like we're also huge fucking losers. Like everybody who
starting
does
attention, and even though they're losers, we're like,
yeah. So everybody in comedy, we're all fucking dweeb ass losers. Yeah. And then when women come in, we're all of a sudden like, you know, what's the phrase? Like an Ohio 10, even though we're like a New York
like
3. We're a comedy 10. And then all of these like cute, funny, talented boys are like around you being like, you're so funny. You just, it's cocaine. It's so intoxicating. So then every boy who talks to you, you're like, I'm in love with you. I'm in love with you. I'm in love with you. Yeah. When I first started comedy, I was obsessed with everybody.
That's fair.
I remember I showed a friend like my Instagram like photo dump of my first year of comedy, and he was like, it's literally all just cute boys. It's like videos of cute boys making you laugh. I was like, yeah, that's the best part of comedy.
This is great.
Because boys never pay attention to you, and then you're just bombarded with it, and then everyone's like, oh, every female comedian is like a slut. It's like, yeah, because we finally get to be. We're dweebs, dude.
So we can't have any fun?
Yeah, it's crazy.
The other day too, because I was like, all the male comics have like chuckle fuckers.
Yeah.
And I feel like girl comics don't have like
not at
men
all.
hate funny women.
Yeah.
Men hate funny women.
women don't have like a really
The only thing you get is like gremlins who love your
Yeah.
self-deprecating jokes.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're like, ooh, I can like one of the first things I got hit on by a guy after a show when I first started, and he was like, I love your like self-deprecating humor, because like the whole time you were up there I just kept thinking to myself like, wow, like I have a chance with her, like I could fuck her if I
Wow,
wanted
you're
to.
like, thank you so much.
And then he goes, yeah, like I have a wife and I have kids, but like the whole time you were up there, I was like, wow, I could fuck her. And I was like, why are you saying that? I was like, get away from
really
me.
just-
Say
know
that,
you're
say that
talking out
face to
loud.
face is crazy.
Yeah.
talking out loud.
I will
You're-
give him respect for
Yeah.
taking that out of the DMs into your face.
Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, that's the most we get is like a gremlin who's like, wow, she like hates herself.
Yeah, I say
Yeah.
like one joke about being unhinged, and they're like, I could take you away from all of it.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking that because I was like, did you were you trying to do like, because you're what I don't know, I think you're pretty open about it. You have a podcast as well, so you have a comedy relationship.
Yeah.
Were you trying to date any non-comics during? Because I was just thinking about when we
Oh
were
my
talking about all
God.
this stuff, like there's all these guys on Hinge that it's like they'll have these prompts that are like, my love language is roasting, hope you can take it. And like,
Yeah.
did you ever just see that as like, oh, let's see?
Yeah,
I
a
would.
lot of men would like it, but most of the men who would match with me on dating profiles, they would be like, I've always wanted to do comedy.
Yeah,
same.
And you're like,
That's what
God
that's
damn
what I was
it.
wondering.
Yeah,
So it's all
I hated
happening to
that.
all of us, yeah.
I
Yeah,
was sat
so-
with a guy while he read me his notes app about
Yeah.
how he like everything
Yeah.
he would say at an open mic, and I'm like, why are you
that's
telling
brutal.
me this?
I
One
had a
joke I
guy-
actually might steal, but
Yeah.
I was like, man,
I had a guy last night, I was at Lowdown playing pool, and he was like, asked about something, and he overheard Justine saying something to a friend about me being in comedy. And so he's like, oh, you do comedy? And I was like, yeah. He's like, at the Mothership? And I was like, yeah, that's the only place here we can do it. So, and I was just like, no. And he was like, I think I would be good at comedy. And I was like, you should try it. Go
Yeah.
ahead. And he was like, let me run this joke by you.
No.
And I said, okay. He was like,
Yeah.
what? He's like, what did the blind man say to the well?
what?
And I was like, or why couldn't he find the well? That's what it was. And I was like, why? He's like, because he couldn't see that well. And I just was like,
That's insane.
You're gonna be a star.
You're gonna be a star kid.
like
Get
the
on
fact that
Kill
he
Tony
was
now.
saying it-
now.
he was saying it
'Cause
so
you're obviously
serious to me. It's like,
retarded.
I couldn't even be mean because I was like, he really in his heart felt like he murdered with
You
that.
can always
That's
be
crazy.
I was
Really
just
quick,
like,
you can always be
and
me.
he's like, well, can I hear one of yours? And I said, no.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a comic? Tell me a joke. Pay me.
I'm always like, come to a show.
Yeah.
I hate that. Yeah, that's I just cut down anything on my profile now, and there's still like one stage picture of me, and so
I don't post anything on my dating app.
yeah,
So
I have,
on a comic.
I have a picture of it just because I feel like up front I'm fair and being like, because like every time I try to Hinge date, they hate me because I'm like day of getting a show or something, and then I'm like, sorry, gonna go do this instead.
Right.
And
yeah.
So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's
just gets it out.
impossible.
It's hard.
You have to
Yeah.
find someone with a nightlife too.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
like you're either available way too early for when they're
Yeah.
or way too late, like and also it is like a very last minute thing. It's like it's nice when you get advanced bookings, but there are a lot of shows you can just pop on or like things like that, and not to their credit, and they're totally valid in that, but that's not for everyone to be like,
Yeah.
they're like your date's always on call. It feels like 'cause it's like, oh, if I get a spot, see ya.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
did you get started like with like wanting to do stand up? Because you're very artistic too.
Starting it's so funny because I was just making fun of this, but I was dating a guy who did stand up.
Oh, I love that.
yeah.
Does he still do it?
Yeah. He lives in like middle of nowhere,
You're funnier than him,
New
though,
York.
obviously.
Yeah. I was dating him and he was kind of a piece of shit, and I was like, I feel like I'm funnier than you.
Yeah.
And then I started doing stand up. Well, me and my brother started doing stand up together.
Oh, shit.
So my brother came home one day and was like, I just did an open mic, and I was like, that's crazy. And we always talked about doing open mics, which is why I started seeing that kid. And then yeah, me and my brother started going to open mics together.
Does your brother still do it?
No, he quit after a while. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
I kept
awesome.
going. I got the bug bad.
I see if I heard like a man that wanted to do stand up because a girl did it, I'd be like, let her have her thing. And I hear
Yeah.
women doing that, and I'm like, good.
Yeah.
We're funnier anyways.
Yeah.
Now I dated a guy that he never did comedy, but he wanted to do comedy. Always talked about it, and then he was going to take a stand up class, and we were supposed to take it together. And then he was like, you should do improv. I think this should be my thing. And so yeah, when we broke
Oh,
up,
what a
yeah, so I
douche.
never did it because he was fucked up. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
right. And Yeah, so then when I started it kind of like vengefully when I left.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, oh, now I'm going to do it.
It feels so good to do anything out of spite.
It felt
every time.
so good because I was like,
Such
he didn't even have
good
to
fuel.
notice. Like, he's blocked on everything, but I've talked about it on here before. Like, his favorite comic was Tom Segura, and like I got him tickets for it for Valentine's Day and shit.
Yeah.
And then that's like who was on the show that I got to do from Kill Tony, like with
Right,
like
that
when
rules.
I opened with Dave and him.
Oh.
And so I'm just like sitting in the green room with Tom Segura, and I'm like, I won. Like,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, like, he doesn't never have to know about it, but like I've never
Yeah.
been so hyped up on spite as when I
Yeah.
went on stage that day. Like I was like, fuck
Because you're super
you.
like artsy creative too.
Oh, thank you.
Because like I know you
Yeah.
do
Draw
little,
as well?
like
I have a lot of ADHD hobbies.
but
is
you
what I
do
have.
them, though. That's what a lot of people
Yeah.
have ADHD interests. You do all of
I don't want to like have a big ego when I talk about this, but I feel like I'm very talented in most things. I
Yeah.
just don't have the passion to see it through.
Right.
Comedy is the first time I've actually had the passion to like do something, but whenever I do like art or do my animations, I give up so fucking fast.
Yeah. Do you see yourself in like writers' rooms and stuff?
I could see it. I don't know how much I want it because writers' rooms I think I love, but I would much rather be performing.
on stage.
Right.
And I hate giving away my jokes. I've been in a couple writing rooms with Roast Battle, the roast of Tom Brady. I did that, and then
Sick.
that was really fun.
You don't talk about this like yours. Like,
Yeah, you
you
don't
don't
Oh,
hype
yeah.
yourself
enough.
up way more.
Oh yeah,
She's
yeah.
like, I don't want to boost up my ego, and
Thanks,
we're like,
guys.
please.
Please do.
But yeah, I love doing that. That was so much fun. Just sending him emails every single day with like just 60 jokes a day. So fun.
That's so
That's
fucking
awesome.
But roast jokes I do not mind giving away because those are jokes that will never be used again.
Yeah.
A writer's room, I'm worried about giving
Yeah.
away good material.
Right.
Yeah, I think that'd be hard. It's like, I guess similar to like certain songwriters that like have to get write songs for people that don't and they don't sing them. I always felt like that would
Yeah.
be hard to be like, it's like
Yeah.
this is the work you did, not getting credit. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like you said, they obviously still have to like perform it a certain way and everything, but you're like, that was mine.
Yeah.
That'd be tough.
Yeah.
Because I'll also say, we were talking about like being like dweebs
Do you wanna
in
guard it?
school. Because I was absolutely not cool growing up like, at all. Probably till my senior year, and then I just like spent a summer like researching how to like just like all these like movies of like how to like act a certain way so I would like be cooler in those settings. But I thought I was a vampire for like the longest time. Like I started out high school telling people I was a vampire. So just
Wait, you started out high school what?
telling people I was a vampire. And I had to move schools.
I love that.
But I do think
Yeah.
it makes.
I love the girls who lied like that.
Oh,
they were
oh
my
God.
favorite.
I thought it would
I'm
make me
like,
more popular.
Yeah, I had a friend who would tell me she was a shapeshifter. She's like, I just like can't show you.
and,
I was like,
it-
yeah, I'm so obsessed with you.
But I think it makes comedy a little easier because you've had to kind of make fun of
Yeah.
yourself a little bit or just
Yeah.
life in general. But I know like we've kind of talked about it a little bit where it's like, and you have like one of like my favorite jokes about how like growing up like the hot girls joke.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember I would have friends that would be like, Quinn, you're like not weird. Like you're like
Yeah.
super like cool. And like I've like trapped y'all in my basement. We've played Just Dance for 7 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, all my
You're
friends
not
were
the
like, you're just as hot as we are. And I'm always like, you don't get it. Like, you truly don't. You guys are like conventionally attractive. Stop comparing me to you. It's like, I get like, women are always like, but you're so beautiful. It's like, yeah, but like 90% of men don't agree. So can we stop with this?
We also
Like,
live in Austin.
It's also
where
like beauty is so subjective. So it's like, yes, there are people that I'm going to be attractive to that
Yeah.
are attracted to me that are not going to be attracted to you. Like, it's like everyone's going to have their own certain type. But there is like when you're like, there is conventional. It's like we all look at and can agree like Ryan Gosling, attractive. And then you're going to look at like, it's like Timothy Chalamet. And some girls are going to be like gross and other girls are going to be like hot. Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
that, but it's like nobody's going to
Well,
disagree about certain things.
yeah.
Like, it's just conventionally attractive. Yeah.
I think, I kill with women. Do not kill with men.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what? They're smarter anyways.
Yeah.
So take the win.
Yeah.
That's the other thing is like sometimes the crowds like it'll be such a split divide sometimes between when it's like a male heavy room, like a female heavy room, and like
Yeah.
you can feel it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you can feel it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I do better like when the room's heavy. At first,
Yeah.
it depends how I dress too.
Yeah.
At first, sometimes like the girlfriends in the crowd are like they'll be kind of silent at first, and then like they
Yeah.
realize like
Yeah.
I'm here for them.
I do better with
Uh-huh.
women,
And
for
then
sure.
it like switches.
Yeah, sometimes I hate a female heavy audience. Like, I love them, but there are some times that they're so woo heavy.
Yes.
And when you're like,
They get very excited about
yeah.
relating.
And when you take even the slightest bit of a pause, they go, "You got this," and it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm like, I'm not insecure right now. I'm just
Doing a
getting into my next joke.
Yes.
Stop giving me this like.
Yeah.
And then they'll
Weird.
come up to you after and be like,
Yeah.
"Ah, you were just, oh, I forget what this," because like I always talk fast. I talk fast, and I do I try to slow myself down on stage. And this girl comes up to me and she goes, "I just feel like you could like so slow down. You're funny enough." And I'm like, I know I'm funny. I'm gonna talk fast.
Yeah.
That's how I'm.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be less of myself.
Yeah, they love to
I
give
don't want
advice.
your input.
Yeah, men hit you with the "you're actually funny," and then women hit you with the like, "here's what I think you could change and do better." Like, no one ever talks
Yeah.
about that. Like,
Yeah.
they really give you like a
They do.
list
Even if
of
they're not
shit you can
comics,
improve. Yeah,
It's so
and you're like, I don't know. I remember. Oh, the biggest thing I get all the time is they're like, you could be like more confident, and they go, and also, why don't you have your Instagram handle on the stage? I'm like, what
Yeah.
the fuck are you
Like,
talking
you just
about?
hold a
I'm gonna
paper.
get a giant poster that's retarded.
Sitting at your feet. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
I bet there's touring comics that do it.
They're like, and
Well-
you need to get merch and you need to, and I'm like, are you
Thank
my
you.
fucking manager? Get away from me. I hate that shit.
Speaking of annoying shit, I guess we have to wrap this up.
Yeah,
So
we do.
yeah, we have been recording about an hour, but so we didn't really get our full time. But it's all right. Heather, I would love for you to tell our listeners where they can find you. Anything else
Oh,
you want to
yeah.
plug? What do you got going on? Podcast
Yeah,
shows?
you
Anything?
can find me on Instagram, Adult Kiddo. I'm thinking about changing the handle. People don't like it. You can find me at my podcast, Keep Hitting Me, at Keep Hitting Me on Instagram. And then you can watch my roast battles. Just type in Heather Keith Comedy. That's pretty much it.
Hell yeah.
Heather is awesome. Please do all of that. Check her out. Thank you so much for coming on. I'd love to have you back on again.
Yeah, I would
feel
love
like
to.
We were just kind of
Yeah.
fangirling over you the whole time.
Oh,
but
thank
that's
you.
okay. I loved
Yeah.
it. So we would love to have you come back and talk some more bullshit with
Yeah, I
us.
would love that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Leave us a review, rate us, subscribe, click all the buttons, all the shit I tell you to do every time. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.